Welcome to the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks. We're Jim and Joe, lifelong friends, lifelong fans, bringing you fan-driven sports talk the way real fans do. No overpaid experts, no scripted analysis, just honest takes on the games, players, and the big stories shaping sports right now.
That's right, Joe. Folks, we want you to be a part of it. Thank you for joining us each and every time. Please drop your comments, questions, and takes. We'll read them all and bring them into future shows. Please hit like, subscribe, tell your friends, and join us for free right here on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, or wherever you listen. And happy Tuesday, Joseph.
Wow, Taco Tuesday already. That's great. Love it.
Yeah. So what's going on?
This weekend happened fast. Lots going on. Do you mean me or the world of sports? Because in the world of sports, what's going on with me is the world of sports right now. Because ever since we started our fantastic podcast, not my words, some of our comments that we get, I've been keeping a little closer eye on things in the sporting world. You and I have always loved sports. It's getting hard to keep up, man. Every time I think, here comes a little down time period, you've got either arguably the greatest golf tournament on TV, you've got the WNBA draft going on, you've got MLB in full swing, you've got NHL playoffs starting, NBA playoffs starting. That's it, aside from all the other stuff in the world happening, like soccer and so on and so forth. So I don't know what's going on. Where do we even begin?
Where do we even begin? That was great. I appreciate that. So you want to start with the Masters?
No, I do not want to start with the Masters. I think we're all wanting to start with the Masters, but I'm going to give the ladies. Ladies go first.
I like it.
So I'm going to give the ladies first dibs here because we're both gentlemen, and we're going to, just make sure everyone knows we love all sports, including women's sports. The WNBA draft took place, and I think it deserves a little bit of commentary. So what do you got?
UCLA, just like when we were kids, dominant, and they're back. They had 5 draft picks in the first round, and I think 5 of them were within the first 10 picks.
Wow.
That's crazy. And then they did have 6 overall players taken in the first round. I mean, not in the first round. It's 5 in the first round, 6 overall. Okay, pretty much the whole starting 5 plus probably their top reserve got drafted to the WNBA. Congratulations to UCLA.
Wow, what a year. What a season for the UCLA Bruins. 6 players taken in the NBA draft, 5 in the first round. I mean, name them: Betts, Rice. They all were great, and they all deserved it. It was a very interesting draft. Azzy Fudd going number 1, no surprise. First pick overall by the Dallas Wings. I like it. $500,000 payday waiting for her. A couple other notes. I love her name spelling. I don't know if anyone out there has kept up with Flo J Johnson, but it's not FLOW or it's FLAUJAE, Flo J Johnson. She kind of made headlines because she was taken by the Valkyries, but then in under an hour was traded right after selecting her. So they picked her and then traded her within the hour, which is kind of crazy. You want to hear something crazy, Jim?
Yes, sir.
Listen to this. This year, the 2026 draft picks, okay, not the top 3, not the top 5, not the top 20. The 2026 draft picks will make more money than any WNBA player did last year. Thank you for the new collective bargaining agreement. That's what took so long to sign it, probably. So unbelievable. If you haven't taken the time to look at the new WNBA contract compared to what it's been compared to last year, take a look. Kudos to the lawyers and the agents for the WNBA players because, wow, they are finally getting paid. And then finally, my other note I have written down here from the draft was the Connecticut Suns went to they picked a French player. This was their first ever first round pick, so the Suns' final draft pick in franchise history before they moved to Houston was Nel Angloma from France. So that was just kind of a note I had written down here. So kudos to the NBA. Draft looks like it was a good night for everyone, good day for everyone. So we'll see what happens.
And they deserve it.
Yeah.
The women get out there and play as hard as the men do. They give it their all, and the games are entertaining. So many people like to make fun of it, but those girls get after it, man.
Well, listen, it's becoming more physical. And you look at we can name names with Caitlin Clark and all that, the abuse she takes and gives back. But I'll be honest with you, I never really made fun of it. I just never thought. I just wasn't motivated to watch a lot of it, but not because of what we're doing here. But I started to kind of pay more attention to it with some of the names that I recognized from college going into the NBA. And I got to say, man, as the game itself goes, if you're a basketball purist, you like watching the game as it should be without the 15 steps in the NBA, without the moving picks that are never called, without the walks from the top of the key to the basket taking 7 steps without traveling being called.
And palming the ball while they're coming down the court.
Watch the WNBA because they play it really by the book. And if you were, I'm just using this as an example, but I did coach like county ball when my son was 10, 12, 13 years old. Hey, as an X's and O's kind of thing, WNBA will teach you a lot about fundamental basketball and how to move the ball around, how to play defense and all that. So anyways, kudos to the WNBA, and I'm looking forward to a good season. I'll definitely be checking out some of the games. All right.
Me too.
Without, there's the misses. Now we can talk about the Masters. The Masters, wow. Thank you. This is my opening statement. Thank you, Rory, on Saturday for making me want to watch the Masters instead of mow the yard. Thank you, Roy. Thank you for doing that thank you for doing that on Saturday. Because the tournament delivered once we knew Roy wasn't going to win by 18 strokes.
And Scotty, too. Yeah. And Cam Young.
Yeah.
It started to get, and Justin Rose, just, oh my gosh. I thought for a little while there, every single one of them was going to just take over and blow right past the field and win it. But no, not so much. Rory decided, no, I'm going to make history.
Yeah. Well, he made history on Saturday, and he could have made history on Sunday because he would have blown the largest 54-hole lead in the history of the Masters. And what I mean by my opening statement is when he had a 6-stroke lead and was playing as well as he was, with everyone else apparently playing pretty good, I was afraid we were going to go into Sunday with a 12-stroke lead. And other than watching golf for the pure enjoyment of watching people hit the golf ball, I want the competition, and that would have been a disappointing Sunday, not because Rory was going to win it, but a 12-stroke lead would have just been, it would have made it who's playing for second, not nearly as exciting for me.
Yeah, I loved it. I was watching just about all afternoon. I did not mow the yard either.
Yeah.
Thank you, Rory.
Yeah. Well, listen, this is my opinion, but I'm sure a lot of people, based on the fact that I haven't won the ticket lottery in about 20 years because it's so popular now, I'm sure a lot of people hold this opinion. But of all the tournaments you can watch, to me, the Masters just delivers every time. I love how they keep the scoring, low. And no one just runs out to a -20, except for Dustin Johnson back in 2020, all-time record for most strokes under par. But other than that, it's always pretty tight. They can move the pins around just a foot or two on Saturday and Sunday I think we're heading to -14. Let's stop that from happening. Let's move the pin, 11 inches, on number 11 or something. It's kind of unbelievable how they can toughen that course up really easy. I love the fact that there was no rain before or during the Masters, so the greens were getting purpley and brown, firm. The balls weren't staying on if you hit them, to the pin. It was great, man. I loved it from a golf perspective.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be having to putt on those greens. I played one time at Oakland Hills up in Michigan, and forget it. Trying to putt on those greens. And speaking of putting, Rory's putting was amazing.
Yeah, I mean, Rory, Rory, Rory did Rory. He made it all very interesting, even during the round on Sunday. He didn't get off to the greatest start in the world, and I mean, it was interesting to see, a couple people grab the lead. Young grabbed the lead for a while. Man, even Justin Rose, just to get into a couple of the players, man, if you don't, and I'm not saying everyone has to love Justin Rose or be a Justin Rose fan. There's not a lot to not like, though. He's been 45 years old. Him and his wife are notorious charity givers. He seems to be one of the nicest guys behind closed doors. He could be a maniac, I don't know, but he seems to be a great for 45-year-old man. He's in good shape, and obviously he's still playing great golf. Arguably some of the best golf of his career. Third time he has been the bridesmaid in the Masters. Two of those by playoff. One to Sergio, one to Rory. How frustrating you get, and even he had the lead for a minute this year.
I think what happened to Rory, I'm not an expert. We always say that, but I say it more than you do. Wasn't it last year in the Masters on the final day? Rory faltered and it really looked like he was not going to win that tournament. Then he came charging back and he got real hot over the last few holes. I can't remember exactly how that went, but I think that's what helped him. He calmed down. He did not look flustered.
No.
And, I can't say enough about him, man. Back to back Masters, 4 times now over history
Yeah.
been done.
No, he's already written his name in the history book as one of the best. Obviously, winning the Masters twice in a row puts you in elite company with only four others.
Right.
And last year, he was chasing. Don't forget, not only was he looking for the fourth, his first Masters, but he was looking for the fourth leg of the, golden,
Grand Slammy.
Grand Slam,
Yep.
and he needed it. So, and that wasn't for a couple of years. It was like he won the other three a long time ago. He was chasing the Masters victory, which would have been the fourth leg of the Grand Slam, for like 10 years. Fact checkers, is that right? I don't know, but it's close. And then think about it. That pressure, he does it, relief. And I got to tell you, this might have been just an observation, has nothing to do with really, the golf part of it. But I swear, I always kind of thought Rory, look at Scotty Scheffler, nice guy, arguably a great guy. After his press conference, hey, yeah, I won the British Open. Well, big deal, who cares? And then he walks around, not one high five to anybody. And I get it. You got, you're locked in. You're walking by all these people in some places really close to the ropes, and you almost got to squeeze by them. It's hard not to give them high fives. Roy this year, he looked way, way more involved or interactive with the fans. I mean, I saw him almost between every hole, even on Sunday, even in the thick of things, giving people a high five. On a side note, I wouldn't be giving people a high five. I mean, I'd be giving them knuckles. I mean, sunscreen, and God only knows what else you're getting on your freaking hands as you walk to the tee box to have to rip one on number 14. You're high fiving everybody with open palm. Ooh, what is that? Like I give
Pine tar.
Yeah, pine tar. Who knows what was on it? Maybe there's a person in the stands like he's planted that has like some kind of extra, little stickum on it or something.
Fred Bolitnikoff was there. I was just going to say that. You stole it from me.
Lester Hayes
Stick
was
'em.
there. Lester Hayes.
And he had it on his sock.
Yeah. Along with all the
Everyone to
grass
see.
by the third quarter that was covered because it stuck.
He
But
was
I will
calm.
say Rory looked a lot more happy. What's more intense, chasing or trying to hold, trying to win it again kind of thing. I would think chasing is much more intense, emotionally. But I don't want to beat a dead horse. I just thought Roy was a lot more friendly, a lot more interactive. I don't judge people on how many high fives they give the crowd, but to do that in the thick of it, I thought really endeared him to a lot of people that have kind of thought he's a little bit standoffish. You know what I mean? And so it certainly was a good thing to watch, and good for him. I'm not. he's not my favorite golfer and all that, but I appreciate obviously what he means to the PGA, to the history of golf, and of course, winning this was great.
He got the Masters monkey off his back last year. It had been elusive to him for many years. And on top of that, the other thing that helped him get over the hump is he didn't do the Irish dinner at the champions dinner before the tournament started. Isn't that what we were talking about last episode?
Yeah, his original menu looked pretty rough. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I like corned beef and cabbage, but
Mhm. You know,
you know,
I like potatoes with every kind of potato you can imagine. Uh,
what did he
yeah,
say? He said, I decided not to go with the Irish so I could enjoy dinner
yeah,
too. Oh
that's
my
exactly
God.
what he said.
That was
He said,
great.
yeah, I decided to change up the menu so I could actually enjoy it myself, which is pretty funny. He even chuckled at that. A couple other notes I have written down here. People may not remember this, but I kind of do, only because, as you know, my son Teddy, who's a guest on our podcast once in a while, he's a big Cam Young fan.
Yeah.
I had to remind myself last spring, a year ago, not 10 years ago, not 5 years ago, last year, Cam Young was on the verge of losing his PGA Tour card. He actually had to go through U.S. Open qualifying to qualify. And then when he finished tied for fourth at the U.S. Open, that changed everything because then he went his first PGA Tour event. He went 3-1 in his first Ryder Cup. Then, of course, the Players, as we know, 2 weeks ago or 2 weekends ago, we know what happened there. He's up to number 3 in the world, like boom, like that. And he proved that none of that is a fluke. I don't know what happened before last year to put him on the verge of losing his card, but whatever it was, he has certainly figured it out.
And he was really nice to the crowd. He
Yeah.
doesn't say a whole lot and everything,
No,
but there were a
no.
couple times there where we've mentioned on our previous podcast. It's like, dude, grow a personality.
Hey, I
But
mock him. I mock him.
he's
I mean, that's his
he's
personality.
he is definitely locked in when he's on the golf course.
Yes. Yes.
But
I'm not mocking Cam Young. I'm mocking his demeanor or his whatever, his personality. I joke that he has Botox in his face because if he ever cracked a smile, he might get neat stitches or something. But all kidding aside, he's proven that it's kind of weird. Almost lose your card. That happens. And then 2, 3 years later, an injury or something, you work your way back. He didn't work his way back. He went from losing his card almost to like one of the best golfers in the world, literally, uh, overnight. So whatever that was, man, that's hard to believe.
wake
I
up
also,
call.
what's that?
It was a wake up call.
You know what? That's probably true. I mean, Ben Griffin was, a realtor when he decided to give golf one more chance, and look what he's doing. So that's kind of a nice story too. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. And I want to mention one other thing is Fred Couples. We're watching him on Friday. He's 2 under through 14 holes. I don't know if you remember. And
Yes.
everyone's like, wow, Fred can still play. It's unbelievable. And then he got a quadruple bogey and 2 double bogeys on the last few holes to miss the cut. Special shout out because a lot of people don't think Dustin Johnson puts in the work necessarily, and I probably agree with him. He doesn't. So what? I'm a huge Dustin Johnson fan. I was glad to see that Dustin Johnson made the cut, finished at even par, shot a 69 on Sunday to finish even par, and ended up being like tied for 40th or something. So good for Dustin Johnson. I think that's kind of great. He's 40 years old. Shows he can still, at least get it around Augusta, former winner. Um, Tyrell Hatton, who I love Tyrell Hatton, man. If they ever mic'd him up through a round, first of all, whatever network that is would be, fined a gazillion dollars. Man, he wears his emotions on the sleeve. But his 66 in the final round wasn't the big stat. All 18 greens in regulation. Think about that. I mean, that is an amazing. If you can walk around Augusta on a Sunday and hit all 18 greens in regulation, that is crazy.
I don't know the feeling. I've never done it.
No, no. The least the least used piece of equipment in my golf bag is my green repairer. Yeah, yeah. Chipping on the green from 14 feet doesn't normally leave a mark you have to repair. I can tell you that. And then finally, this is all I have. I've got Sergio written down here with like 18 exclamation parts points. Did you see that? Did you see Sergio? What the heck was that?
18 exclamation points may count for how many times he slammed his club down, and then I think he ended up hitting the marker for the
Uh,
tee box. Yeah,
well, it was either the marker or I think it was a cooler next to the tee box.
it was the
But
cooler.
does it matter? I mean, if you haven't seen this yet, if you're watching this or listening to this and you haven't seen it, go Google Sergio Garcia's epic meltdown. Okay, this guy, think about this. He's 16 shots out of the lead. He's not in contention. It's not like this one shot, may have cost him the green jacket or another green jacket. He freaking hits a wayward drive and he literally bangs his club on the, sacred turf of Augusta, taking huge chunks out of the tee box turf, and then walks over and then whacks his club on a cooler, breaking the head off. Um, 16 shots out. He said afterwards, sorry, it was a result of frustration that had been building up throughout the year. But throughout the year, it's freaking April. I mean, give me a break. I'll be honest with you. Never loved Sergio, but had no reason to dislike him. That was really tough to watch, man. He should be ashamed of himself. I know that the chairman delivered a formal code of conduct warning to him. I'm not sure what that holds, but what an embarrassment.
Yeah, Sergio's in trouble. I you know what? I liked him. I was happy when he won his Masters, but hasn't been ever been my favorite golfer either. Now I'm really thinking, needs a little anger management. I think.
Listen, when you're 16 strokes, that's literally like you and I, going. And by the way, this was on the third hole, I think, or the fourth hole. So that'd be like you or I, double bogeying the first, triple bogeying the second, and then hitting a bad drive in the third and just going off, throwing our. It's like, oh my god, what the heck is your problem? It's sad. By the way, Sergio's green jacket came at the expense of Justin Rose in a playoff. So looking back, I now know who I wish would have won that playoff, but we can't go back in time, unfortunately. Anyways, first time no Phil or no Tiger since 1994. I know there are people out there that are going to say what I'm about to say is golf sacrilege, but didn't notice, didn't miss him, didn't care. I think the new faces on the tour and the old faces that delivered this weekend were plenty for me.
Speaking of back in time, a little Masters history here. 1985, Bernhard Langer won his first Masters on today's date, April 14th, 1985. On today's date, April 14th, 1996, one of the greats who's on the list of back-to-back Masters, Nick Faldo, won his third overall Masters, which was also his sixth and final major title. Nick Faldo was a great one, man.
He was, still is. Was that the one where Greg Norman had like a 7-stroke lead at some point in that round and just completely fell off? The wheels just fell off, and Nick Faldo, not taking anything away from Nick Faldo, but he got some help on that one. I guess anyone who wins the Masters, not every time, but I guess many of the winners, needed other people to kind of help. Like Tiger's last win. Don't forget, Jordan Spieth went to number 12, if I'm not mistaken, with a 4-stroke lead over Tiger and others, and then proceeded to get a 7 on the 12th hole after hitting 2 in the water, and that opened the door for Tiger. So I'm sure, like I said, most winners can, thank somebody.
That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, before we go, congratulations to Rory joining Jack, Nick, and Tiger. No last names needed for those. That's the Mount Rushmore of golf right now. So we'll see. Rory will be he'll have the opportunity to become the only player to three-peat Augusta next year. So you got that going for you. And the way he's driving the ball, his short games, his chipping and stuff is pretty good. His irons are great. His putting is, what kind of is his Achilles heel. And I think I'll close with this. If anyone ever needs any sand trap or bunker, uh, how to get out of a bunker lessons, don't go see Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah,
Ooh,
that would not be my choice to help me with bunker. Not getting out of the bunker on 18 twice, not getting out of the bunker on 11 twice, um, and many other bad shots cost him the tournament. Don't forget, he was top 5, top 3 back to back. I had a lot of high hopes for him this year. Thought he'd figure it out. By the way, his comment after the round was the sand wasn't quite what I expected it to be. What? Don't you have like 3 practice rounds that you can do? And I'm sure the bunkers on the practice facility at Augusta are pretty similar to the course. Unlike the courses I play, where the putting green, practice green, is nowhere near what it's like on the course. Come on, give me a break. What I would just say is, wow, I struggled out of the bunkers. Don't say that.
I think I saw something about Bryson where he used a 3D putter. Not a 3D club. And I think it was that club or something. So I think it's time to trash the 3D club that he made. And another player who didn't do so well on the final day is who your son Teddy picked, Cameron Young. Picked the worst day again on Sunday to just, what was he, 4 over on Sunday? That
Oh
just
yeah,
really
yeah,
hurt him.
yeah. I think once the lead got to a point, I think he started having to press. If you want
Yeah,
to win, and
I
so
think
that
so
probably
too.
cost him a few at the end. But he didn't play horrible. He just didn't play good. But kudos to Rory, man. That's the way it is. Look
And I
forward to the
picked, I'm sorry, go ahead.
no. So I look forward to the next tournament, the next major. Can't wait.
Yeah, me too. And I picked Tommy Fleetwood, and he didn't do that poorly, but
No,
not enough. Not enough.
no.
We're witnessing greatness in golf right now with Rory. I just thought about he had the Ryder Cup. He pretty much spearheaded the Ryder Cup win. He was honest with everybody, saying this has got to be under control. I remember we had a lot of comments when we talked about that show, the way the fans were acting and stuff. But we're witnessing greatness right now in golf.
Yeah.
Kudos to
Well,
Rory.
it's arguable because you still have Scotty Scheffler, number one in the world. You've got Cam Young. You've got. I mean, Rory. Rory doesn't have Tiger's dominance. He's not dominating like Tiger did. It took him 10 years to win the Masters after he'd won the other 3. But now that he's won it, he won it back to back. Puts him in elevated company. We'll see how he does along the year. Like I said, I think the next. I like how the PGA has rescheduled everything to have a major or almost major in every month. So next month will be the PGA, if I'm not mistaken, and then of course June U.S. Open, July British Open, blah blah blah. So look forward to that. We have some time left. I think we really should get some baseball in here because baseball. By the way, if you're listening or watching, we are going to have a full blown NBA playoff/NHL playoff podcast later on this week. Shooting for Thursday or Friday, obviously, because those are both in full swing. NHL this weekend. The play-in games for the NBA are already starting. So we'll have Teddy back on with us because he is our resident expert for all things basketball. So we'll do that. But in the meantime, baseball's full swing. We've got a few minutes, Jim. There's some interesting things going on. What are your thoughts?
I just like the fact that I think last Wednesday we were talking about the Oakland A's. I'm still going to call them the Oakland A's until
Me too.
they're in Vegas for a couple of years.
Yeah.
And
I
no
mean,
apology necessary. That's right. That's right. But they went from 3-6 to first place in a matter of 4 games. So
love it.
it's
Love it.
like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that was
Thank God it's
great.
early. You can do that when it's early.
That's a good baseball team.
Yeah.
I
No.
think they're going to be battling the Rangers this year in the AL West.
Yeah. They've you know, there's been years where they're pretty good. Their problem is they can't keep them because the owner, selfish, cheap owner, won't pay them. But we'll see. I think his excuses are going to run out when they go to Las Vegas. But hey, I think it's great to have a good year or two before you move. Um, the Dodgers. I mean, listen, they're 12-4. But what's unbelievable to me when I look at what's going on with them, um, they, I mean, their bullpen. which has been their Achilles heel, has been unbelievable this year. If they keep everything else going the way they were, and their bullpen is actually good, I don't know what we're going to be talking about then.
Well, all I'm going to say there is baseball is it's the hardest championship to win. It's a 162 game regular season. Already now, Mookie Betts is out. They still haven't gotten Tommy Edman back. They are using some of their good farm players like Kim. I can't think of the other guy's name right now, but
Andy Pages is having a great year.
Andy is having a great year. First player to reach 20 RBIs, but and then the pitching staff, they still don't have Blake Snell. But last night, Justin Robleski, 8 innings pitched, gave up 2 hits, no walks, and I think he only faced 25 batters. So if they can see him come up, he'll replace the missing the good southpaw like Clayton Kershaw until Snell gets back. But yeah, I don't want to talk too much about the Dodgers. I'm going to jinx them.
Yeah, you probably
But
will.
it's still so early.
Yeah,
But
well, I think they're just going to, whatever that percentage is right now, will probably just get, stay the same or better. Honorable mention to the Atlanta Braves.
yeah,
Schwellenbach, Strider, Waldrep, Shire, Shaver, and Wentz are all on the DL. But somehow they're leading the league in ERA. Their entire pitching staff is on the DL or the shelf, whatever, IR. I'm not sure what their nomenclature or specific whatever they call that is. But anyways, no, they're 10-7, leading the NL East. By the way, I'm also keeping my eye on Tony Vitello. I don't know if that's a household name, but Tony Vitello, I don't know if this has ever happened, but he was the coach of the Tennessee Volunteers, yes, college, last year. And the GM for the San Francisco Giants said, you know what, the hell with it. We've tried a lot of other things. I'm going to bring up a college coach, no history in MLB whatsoever, and let him coach the Major League franchise San Francisco Giants. I think it's fantastic. They're 6-10 right now, a little sluggish start, but keep your eye on that. That's just a great story.
yeah, that Vitello right out of Tennessee.
Yeah,
Yep.
crazy. And then my final thing on baseball is we can't talk about baseball without the ABS system. I will say this: there was a viral video going around on Jen Powell. You may have seen it. She's the first. Last year, she broke Major League Baseball history by becoming the first female umpire to work a game, and then she became the first female home plate umpire in Major League history. It was spring training, but there's a video of her going around where there's a strike right down the middle. Can't be any more down the middle. She called a ball. ABS, of course, overturned it. And then the rest is history. Oh my God, these women can't, blah, blah, blah. Well, she is not really the biggest problem out there. As we know, CB Buckner is the poster child. He leads baseball in the most overturned, 7 overturned calls. He's challenged 10 times in one game this year. He's the worst. And, it's funny. People have always argued that baseball umpires stink. Well, now it's on the big screen. Now you can see how much they stink. And ABS is proving that a lot of these guys are terrible. I'm going to make this quick, but I did not realize, but when the Major League Baseball Umpires Union or whoever, when they judged the umpires, they gave them a 2-inch margin for error. So the best was 98%. The worst was 96%. If you move that to a 1-inch error, which can make the difference between a ball and a strike, it was like 97% were really good, 96, and then like 81. So, they're protecting them. Well, now everyone can see because you're not protecting them anymore. And there has been 5 times this year where an accidental tip of the cap triggered a replay. They got to get rid of this. People touch their cap all the time in baseball. It's been going on for a million years in Little League and everything. So everyone goes like this and replay. There's been 5 times where 4 of those were actually overturned. So it was a lucky accident. But they got to change the sign to something a little bit less, hey, what I do every time, Like, hey, if I spit tobacco, it's a replay. Like, no, let's pick something else. Yeah. Carol Burnett.
I'm so glad we had this time together, like Carol Burnett.
Meanwhile, the guy steals second base before the pitcher even gets on the mound. Like, what? That was a steal sign. So you got to be careful. Yeah, we got to pick something else because it's happening more frequently. It's only early in the season. We've already had 5 accidental replays because you touch your helmet. It's pretty funny. But hey, speaking of funny, it was a great weekend of sports. Can't wait for more baseball this weekend. Of course, next weekend is going to be awesome as well, with playoffs starting. So, but for right now, that's it for this episode of the Undrafted Armchair Quarterbacks with Jim and Joe. Hey, thanks for checking us out and hanging with us for some real fan-driven sports stuff.
Please don't forget your comments are a part of the show. Drop them below. We'll read them and feature them in future episodes. Please hit like, subscribe, and join us for free on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, and TikTok. Can't wait till the next show, Joe.
Hey, me neither. Look forward to the comments. Thanks, everybody. Love you, bro. See you, man.
Love you, bro.